Yo, what is going on, everybody? Jay with it, back at it again. This time, hold up. Let's switch the beat out real quick. We are hitting a new video today. We're gonna be doing what if Deku had a solo leveling system? Come on, like let's just come on. Like this is about to be fire. We all know you guys want this. Like, come on. Solo leveling, it's peak right now. I get it. I'm gonna give y'all what y'all want. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, anyways. like I'm not even gonna hold y'all. Let's just get into it. Like, I'm not gonna keep y'all here. I know y'all don't want to hear about all that stuff, but wait. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment what y'all want me to do for future videos. Like, I'm open to suggestions. Like, please comment below. Let me know if you guys like the video. Let me know what you guys want me to change as well. Because none of y'all be commenting. Like, bro, comment. I promise I will see them. I'm a small creator. Like, I'm trying to get big. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys so much, and let's get started with what if Deku had a solo leveling system? Starting our story off, we actually see through the lens of a third person perspective, and we see in the hospital bed and in a mother's arms a boy with green hair and green eyes, and a man with white hair and we'll say black eyes, I think, red eyes, I don't know, and looking down on this kid, and he's like, "That's our boy, all right. He has your hair in your eyes." And the mother with green hair and green eyes saying, "Yes, Satoshi, isn't it amazing? He looks just like, he has the same facial shape as you, but he has all the same features as me as well." And Sashi's like, "Inko, you did an amazing job. I'm so proud of you." And then he says, "And I know I'll be proud of our little boy, Izuku Midoriya." And it's just a heartwarming scene, and we see the man carrying his baby, just uh like cradling it, just keeping it calm, and the little boy just staying and just embrace and like just welcoming the embrace with open arms. Then a year goes by, and we see him grumbling, and we see a pretty low maintenance kid. Of course he has his outbursts, but we get 2 years old, 3 years old, we see his first steps, 4 years old, and this is whenever this is whenever we see the interesting thing about this world in particular. it there's this power system called quirks, and this is a world completely dominated by people with quirks. If you're quirkless, you're typically going to suffer. And I think it was about 20%. Hold on, I think it might have been 80. It is 20%. And in a world where only 20% of people don't have quirks, the quirkless people, I mean the quirked people, the 80% reign supreme, and it is actually the way that people really test power now. And then we see a bunch of heroes just rising to the occasion, and one stands out in particular, especially to our young protagonist, and it's a man with long it's this tall, big, muscular man with long blonde hair that sticks up, always with a smile on his face and his bright blue eyes. We see him saving a bunch of civilians and through a fire, and we see him carrying six, like just carrying him out of the fire and saying, "Ha ha! I am here!" And Izuku just falls in love with this, and we just see him like asking to play it again, play it again, play it again. It's finally like 15 times, and Inko is just smiling, watching her kid have so much joy. A year goes by, and finally it started the pre-K for our young protagonist, and or it's about 4 years old. So yeah, so 4 years old, it started pre-K. He goes to pre-K, and he meets this young boy who he familiarly like has a connection with, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Izuku. What's your name?" And he's like, "Oh, my name's Katsuki. My name's Katsuki Bakugo. Do you want to be friends? How about we go play on the playground?" And he's like, "Wait, who's your favorite hero?" And Izuku's like, "All Might, of course." And Bakugo just like, "Me too. I want to be a number one hero just like him." And Izuku's like, "Me too." And he's like, "But I'm gonna," and Bakugo's like, "But I'm gonna be number one." And Izuku's like, "Okay, I'll be number two, but you have to promise that you won't forget me." And Bakugo's like, "No way, I would never forget you." And from that day on, they become friends. Or so we think. Finally, Katsuki Bakugo, he finds out what his quirk is going to be, and he finds out he's not quirkless. He can create sweat I mean, he can create explosions from the sweat generated in his palms. It's nitroglycerin, which is a super flammable substance that whenever it contacts air, it can explode. And he can control it, and he can crackle small little explosions in his hand. With every single little sweat droplet is one little explosion. And we see our little protagonist Izuku. Wow, Kachan, that's so cool. You have such a powerful quirk. You'll definitely be number one. And Bakugo saying, I know, Izuku, and you're gonna be just as powerful. I know it. Until he doesn't get a quirk, and he finally goes to the quirk doctor, and he tells the quirk doctor, I want to be a number one hero. I actually want to be number two to my best friend Katsuki Bakugo. And he's like, look, kid, I'm sorry, it's not gonna happen. You don't have a quirk. I'm sorry, kid. You see the bone in your pinky toe, it is in I think it was because it was in 3 sections or 2 sections, and typically it's 1 section and a quirked person, which I don't know how that would affect like I don't know how that really affects anything, but and Izuku just his entire world just shatters, and you can see in his face, and Inko just hugs him and says, I'm sorry, Izuku. And the next day we see Izuku just going to class still with a smile on his face, like trying to just push through the obstacles. And he tells Bakugo, I'm quirkless, but I'm still gonna work just as hard. And Bakugo's like, you're quirkless? I guess I should call you Deku then, because you're gonna be useless. And the entire class joins in, and Izuku, he just feels so saddened by this, and he gets bullied for the rest of the day for what, not having a power. So he's on his way back home, and then we see the perspective of a man who's in a truck, and it's a semi truck, and he's playing on his phone, not paying attention to the road. And we see a red light and the crosswalk going green, and Izuku walking across, and bam, the truck hits our young protagonist, and it puts him into a coma-like state. Immediately, the man who's on his phone notices. He stops the car. He calls 911, and Izuku gets rushed to the hospital. Inko Midoriya, she's called. Hisashi Midoriya is called, and Hisashi immediately comes back from his overseas trip to take care of his son, who is now in the hospital. Inko rushes there immediately, and he immediately is taken into ICU, and he's taken care of, and he is in a coma. It's revealed, and we just see for the next year on the outside, we just see Inko just crying every day, and Hisashi just comforting his wife, and just like placing his hand on Izuku, just being like, please, we need you, son. We can't go through it. We can't go through this without you. And we just see this on the outside, and another person walks in the room, and it was about a week after it happened, and Bakugo found out through his mother, because it's actually revealed that his mother, her name is Mitsuki Bakugo, and Inko Midoriya were actually really close friends. And Bakugo, finding out about this, asks his mom if he can go visit. Inko gives permission, not knowing about the bullying, and Bakugo, he gets into the room, and he just jumps into the bed with Izuku, and he says, I'm sorry, Izuku, this is all because of me. If I just didn't say all that stuff. And Inko is just like, wait, what? And he's like, we found out that he was quirkless, and everybody started making fun of him. If only I didn't join in, maybe he would still be here. And Inko is immediately just broken. She realizes that the son of her best friend had bullied her child into a coma, and she just doesn't know what to say. Hisashi gets infuriated, and he makes Mitsuki he makes Katsuki Bakugo and Mitsuki Bakugo leave. After this, about a month after, this was like a month in, and then a month after, we see the Bakugos return with flowers and with gifts and apology letters, and we can see Hisashi and Inko still broken about their child who's in a coma, and we just see them just accepting their apology. And Katsuki Bakugo actually just sits with his friend every night, every day, and he asks his mom if he can take a month-long break from school, and this gets approved by the school. And every single day one of his friends brings his classwork to the hospital, and every single day Bakugo, what he does is he talks to Izuku about the homework, and he teaches him while he's in a coma, not even thinking that he wouldn't be able to hear. But then we actually switch perspectives to Izuku, and we see in his mindscape he's in this blue room, and this was the day it happened. He gets immediately, like, he wakes up and he's like, whoa, where am I? What is this place? And he's like, this isn't home. This isn't Japan, is it? And he walks and he walks and he walks, and he sees a blue, like, column, and he's like, oh, that's huge. And he sees a massive knight standing next to it. He goes to walk past it and sees the axe, like, he sees the axe that the knight was holding swing down, and he immediately dodges out of the way, like, whoa, that was close. And he walks further and he walks further, and he sees a massive statue, and he's like, whoa, what is that thing? Who is that? It looks like a king. And immediately we see its eyes shift downward, looking at him, and we just see an eerie smile creeping on this like what was supposed to be a statue's face. Izuku immediately feels fear, and he immediately tries running. But just as he tries running, the room goes from a blue to a red, and we see the man that was sitting in this massive throne, stand up and tries hitting Izuku. Izuku dodges and dodges as much as he can, and eventually he gets hit, and it's a bloodbath. And after this, we actually see him waking up a year later, because in his mindscape it is actually it's a lot slower than in real life. So it's almost as if he could skip time, but his body is still, like, vulnerable. He has actually revealed that all of the studying that Bakugo did with him while he was in the coma, like, because this was for the entire year, like, every day after school, Katsuki would immediately go to the hospital, and he would sit with Izuku, and he would do his homework and tell him about it, and tell him all about what they learned. So Izuku, he was registering all of this information in his brain, even while he was in the coma. Man, this is a little bit of a dark turn, but I guess it's about to get a lot lighter. So eventually one day he opens his eyes, and he just sees the room, his mother, his father. He sees a woman who's blonde, and he realizes that it's actually his best friend's mother. He looks to his left, and he sees Katsuki Bakugo doing homework on the table next to him, and he's like, Kachan, is that you? And Kachan immediately, like, looks over with tears in his eyes. He immediately jumps in the bed and hugs Izuku, and he's like, I never thought you'd be back with me. And we just see Izuku just holding him back, and he's like, Mom, Dad, you're here too. And they immediately just jump on him and just hug him, and they press the button, and the doctors come in, and they're like, how? It's been a year. Like, this shouldn't be possible. And they do tests on him, and they see that his bones are in perfect condition. Like, actually, it seems like he's only gotten healthier from this. And immediately they're just like, well, okay, that's pretty cool. And so after about a week or two of them staying in the room and just making sure Izuku was perfectly fine, of tests, and just making sure that he was good, after about a week or two, he goes home, and Inko tells him that they're actually going to homeschool him from now on, but if he would like to continue seeing his best friend Kachan, then he's allowed to. And Izuku could be like, of course, I want to see my best friend. Like, no matter what he said to me back then, I mean, it was all just a joke, wasn't it? And Inko and Hisashi look at each other, and they shake their heads, and they're like, no, Izuku, it wasn't a joke, but he said sorry, and I know he meant it. And Izuku's like, well, as long as he apologized, right? And Inko and Hisashi both smile, and they're like, you're a good kid, a lot better than we were. And Izuku's like, wait, what do you mean? And they're just both like, don't worry about it. How about you go upstairs and get some rest? You'd probably like to be in your own bed again. And Izuku's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And he goes upstairs, and he takes a bath, and he just goes to his room, and all of a sudden he sees a bright light just appear in front of him. It's bluish though. He like squints his eyes, and he looks at it, and he sees loading complete. And he hears a woman's voice, and he's like, whoa, what is that? And then he looks at it further and he's like, download is complete. Select your main weapon. And he looks through and he sees daggers, he sees swords, he sees guns, he sees a bow and arrow, and he finally decides, oh, daggers, that'd be cool. And he just thinks that this is some random thing, like he doesn't think anything of it. Okay, daggers selected. Now select your secondary weapon. And he's like, okay, let's see. So I have projectiles, I have hands, I have and he just goes through all of them and he's like, hands, I'm gonna pick hands, thinking that maybe it would do something to buff his hands. And then the system says, perfect, hands are selected. Next, choose your ability. He sees dark, he sees light, he sees fire, wind, water, earth, lightning, and he ends up choosing darkness. He's like, whoa, that's so cool. And it's like, perfect, ability darkness is selected. Next, choose your potential. And it's like, error, potential has not been selected, therefore we will be choosing infinite. And Izuku's like, infinite? Oh, okay, what does that mean? And immediately it says, perfect, the selection process has been completed. Now enter your name so that way we can log your experience points. And he's like, okay, Izuku Midoriya. And they're like, perfect, Izuku Midoriya. The name has been inputted into our system. And then it explains the solo leveling system. It explains, you will get daily quests, and you must do this daily quest every single day for the rest of your life. And if you fail to complete it, you will have to do a punishment. And if you complete the punishment, then the daily task has been completed for that day. And he's like, okay, that makes sense. And it's like, but do I get a reward? And it says, yes, if you complete your daily task for a week straight, you will get a reward. And he's like, oh sweet, what reward? And it's like, it can vary from a weapon, it can vary from a new ability, it can vary even to more XP, so that way you can level up even more. And then he's like, oh, that's so cool. Wait, what can I do with the XP and whenever I level up? And it just talks about like stat points and all the things he can put it in, which is speed, strength, stealth, durability, and agility, meaning like parkour and stuff. Yeah, so speed, hold on. And okay, so the stats that I decided on are going to be speed, strength, durability, stealth, agility, and weapons. That's 6. And then it goes to explain that he gets 3 stat points per level up that he does. And the max level that he can unlock is the level 1200. Nah, I'm kidding. It's pretty much infinite, but that's like his overall goal. Which, okay, so it tells him that the max level is 1200. However, he does not technically have a max level because he can ascend again. Like, he can ascend and basically reset. So then he asks if he can do multiple quests per day, and the system said, oh, of course, you can do as many quests as you want per day. You could do 100 quests per day if you wanted. However, you must do at least one. And it's like, okay, bet. So am I allowed to re-roll quests? And it's like, yes, you are allowed to re-roll a quest once per month. Yeah, we'll say once a month. And he's like, okay, perfect. And he's like 6 years old, I believe. Yeah. 6 years old. So if he did 100 quests, then he would be broken. And I'm just gonna say like every quest pretty much gives him a level up, or like half a level, because I don't feel like dealing with all the experience counting and stuff. So, yeah. No, I'm playing, but yeah. So after this, I can see what's going on is the first quest pops up, and he sees that it's like 8 o'clock at night, so he sees that he only has 4 hours to complete this quest. So, and he reads 10 push-ups, and it's like, oh, that's cool. And he does 10 push-ups, he does 5, and then he starts struggling on the last 5, and the system counts it, and it's like, perfect, you have leveled up, ding 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 ding. And he's like, yeah, let's go. And it's like, Okay, so I have 3 stat points, so he goes to the stat menu. He sees strength, speed, durability, blah, 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 blah. And he decides that he wants to put it into... He puts 2 into strength. Yeah, I'm gonna say that he puts... No, we're gonna say he puts 2 into strength, and he puts 2 into speed, 1 into strength. So, also, if you guys hear clicking, it's because I'm doing the leveling system, and, So that's my keyboard. But after this, I can see every single day, like, the next day, it's, like, a 10K run, and, or not a 10K run, but he just is, like, just running a mile, so that's what he does, and he does this for about, like, a year, so let's see, so if he did, hold on, so if he did, so let's see, 365, if he did one per day, so he would have 1,095 stat points at the end of the day. So yeah. He would have 1,000. He would have 1,095 stat points by the end of the year. But you know what? Let's just roll a time skip. So this, we're gonna say that he sticks to like 1 a day, maybe 2, and then we'll say maybe 2, but I'm just gonna say 1 a day, and he does this for 3 years. So hold on. Yeah, we'll say until he is so he's 6 years old, so I'm going to say he goes all the way until he's about 13. So that would be 7 years. So yeah. So he has 7,000 stat points. Hold on, I'm gonna balance these. Okay, so I balanced them out, and he would get about 1,277 into each stat point. So speed, he's at 12778, and then all the rest follow. So strength, durability, stealth, agility, and weapons. And the reason why it's 1278 is because he started out at 1, not at 0. So yeah. So now he is pretty busted, and he's like built. So, and he's 13 years old. Also, if you guys hear like creaking and stuff, that's my floor. I don't know why it does that, but yeah. And we're gonna say like every single day he trains with Bakugo as well. So that's why they're all balanced. Because I think it was like the math was weird. If you guys do the math, like you'll see that it's not perfect, but because he trained with Bakugo, the system's obviously gonna grant him more. Then after this, I can see 2 more years going by. I just don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like balancing out those. So we'll just say that like this is his stats for whenever he goes to UA, because I don't feel like doing all that right now. Especially because I have to get this video uploaded like soon. But anyway, so after this, I could see the next 2 years going by, and Izuku like finding out that he can actually go into specific rooms, and he opens the key, like he uses one of his keys, and he goes into a dungeon, and he realizes he is not ready at all. Like he uses his like perception, and he realizes that these beasts are like 10,000s, like 20,000s. And he realizes, yeah, nah, I ain't ready for this. So he goes back in, and he trains for another 2 years. And his stat points would obviously increase as time goes on. So I'll just do a basic. I'm just gonna do the basic math on this. So if he got it whenever he was 6 years old, so literally just add 2. So okay. So his like total stat point at 15 would be 9,855. That would be his total stat point. That would be his total stat points. Little heads up. Pretty sure I already broke the limit for max level, but I don't really care actually. Hold on. Let's just divide it by 3. Yeah, no, he definitely already beat that. But anyways, so if you guys want to do the math where his stats are at, like all I'm gonna say is he's already like broken. But like considering the fact like he wants to be able to he's on par with like if he became a hero, he'd probably be top 30. I'm gonna put him at like that, maybe top 25. We'll say top 25. And that's after training for 9 years with the solo leveling quirk. Because if you guys think about it, it's kind of busted. Like, come on. After this, like he's 15, and like him and Bakugo, they've been friends since they were 6 years old, and we don't get the scene of, I know you all want to be heroes because Deku's homeschooled. So after this, I can see Izuku and Bakugo saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, are you gonna be going to UA? Like I know you're strong. Like, dude, I can barely beat you anymore. I don't know what happened. How did you get so strong?" And he's just like, don't worry about it. And Baku's just like, "Nah, you gotta tell me your secrets one day." And he's like, whatever. Maybe you should maybe you should like train harder. You know, just be better. Like, get rid of your skill issue." And Bakugo's just like, "Ha ha, that's very funny, Deku." And he's like, "Kajan, you shouldn't be talking, man. Like, I will whoop you here and now." And he's just like, and Bakugo's just like, "Nah, chill, bro." And we actually see Bakugo is like way more powerful than in canon because he had his like rival there by his side, and he saw how fast and how much Izuku grows, and he's like, "Oh nah, this is unfair." Like, so after this, what I can see going down is 10 months of training, and Izuku like going up to Bakugo, and he's like, "Yo, Izuku, I mean, yo, Kachan, like, I actually know a place. If you're trying to train like for these 10 months, like before the entrance exam, like I'm down." And Bakugo's like, "I bet." So there goes Dagobah Beach, and it actually is revealed that this was one of his tasks, was to complete the entire beach in one day. And he's like, "Oh, this is gonna be rough." So he's like, "Okay, Bakugo, so what I want you to do is, I want you, because it's such a hot climate and at this beach, what I want you to do is, I want you to take this section, and I just want you to nuke it." Like, basically, like, not nuke it, but like make all the trash super condensed with your explosion. And he's like, "I think I can do that." So that's what he does with one of the sections, and we'll say it's like 25%. And he does it in like, and he does it as Izuku's doing the 75%, and Izuku just condenses it all pretty much, and he gets all of it to the dump, and Bakugo does the exact same thing. And after this, I mean, it's pretty late, and it's actually revealed Izuku completed his tasks. The beach is clean. And so after this, what I can see going down is, for the next 10 months, I can see the for the 10, I can see half of it like Izuku and Bakugo training and also just going out and having fun. And after this, they actually are revealed to be about to take the entrance exam, and they're both walking up to the doors like, "Oh, this is gonna be so much fun." And I don't see Izuku tripping. But even if he did, I mean, come on now. He just has that aura. Like, he would catch himself and be like, "Nah, y'all ain't seen nothing." Like, so they go in, and Izuku, he's smart, because we'll actually say he also has uh an intelligence stat point, because I can't make my boy stupid. And he has all the stats to basically just make himself busted. So he also has an intelligence stat. I'm probably not going to keep up with stat points just because it's like there's so much stuff going on through it. So if you guys would love to, go for it. I mean, it's pretty much, the equation for it is 365 times 3, because if he has to complete at least one task per day, and he completes one task per day, then that's 365, and that's 1 year. Times that by 3, that's how many stat points he gets in 1 year. And then if you divide that by 3, then you get his total level. Bingo. There you go. If you guys want to do the math for like a whole year of, leveling, which I doubt you guys want to do that. But anyways, after this, I can see that Izuku and Bakugo, they realize they are in completely different training zones, and he's like, "Dang it, I really wanted to steal the robots from you." And Bakugo's like, "Yeah, I know, right? That would have been so much fun having that competition." And he's like, "I mean, we can always compete. I mean, we can see how many gets the most score." And I can see Ida being like, "You two, quiet down. The presenter is about to speak." And Izuku just being like, "Dude, chill out. We know. You talking. You listen. We don't care." And Ida's just like, "I bet." And he just pipes down. And after this, I can see just Bakugo and Izuku going to their respective places. And he sees this girl with brown hair who's actually kind of nervous out in the front. And Izuku's just like, "I bet." And he walks up to her, and Ida's about to stop him. And he just looks at him with the King Baldwin hand up. And he's just like, "Stop." he goes up and he talks to Araka and he's like, yo, this is about to be like mad easy. Are you doing okay? And she's just like, what do you mean easy? Like, have you heard it? Like, this is gonna be so difficult. And he's like, nah, bro, like, just watch. And he immediately, he just like flash steps and he's like, and immediately, like, before the doors even open, and then President Mike finally says, follow that kid. He has the right idea. There's no countdown in a hero battle. Go, go, go. And immediately they all go and they rush in, and Izuku, he's already racked up like 200 points by the time that like they all come in, and he's like, 200 might be enough. Nah, Bakugo's at least gonna try and get 300, so he doubles his score and he gets 400. And there's like not a lot of robots left, but we're gonna say that they actually take robots from the sections that there's not as many promising candidates in. So, because I'm pretty sure there's like 4 or 5 sections, so we're gonna say they take it from every other one other than Bakugo's. And then after this, I can see the 0 pointer popping up and Izuku being like, oh, this thing's total power level is 10,000? Like, it's over 9,000? And he's like, I bet. I got this. Keep game. Lock in. So I can see him just jumping up, taking his daggers out and being like, dark. Slash. And it just slashes in 2 different parts, like, completely parallel to one another, and the robot is about to fall, and Izuku being like, no you don't, and he uses I'm going to say he just uses his overall strength and he condenses it together and he smashes the robot parts together, like keeping it from like smushing. So, and then he lands on the floor and he sees that a girl was actually about to get crushed, so he helps her out of the rubble and he carries her bridal style, and he just has like mad aura. He takes him to Recovery Girl. He takes her to Recovery Girl, and he's like, "Here you go. I know she probably has a rolled ankle, so I know you'll probably take care of her." So she's just like, "Oh, but are you okay, Sonny? Are you okay, Sonny? Is there anything I can help with? Here's a lollipop." And he's like, "No, thank you, man." Sorry, guys. That impression was awful. I was trying to just do a sweet old lady's voice, but after this, I could see Izuku. 2 weeks later, he gets the note and he opens it with Bakugo, actually. Bakugo, he got 170. Izuku got 450. And then his 70 hero points. So he got 520. Man, that would have been funny if I would have done like 420. No, I'm kidding. But anyways, after this, they're all like, yeah. And Bakugo's like, how? You like almost tripled my score. And he's just like, hey, I'm just better. Just get rid of your skill issue for real. And Bakugo's just like, alright, bro, chill out. And he just punches him on the shoulder. And he's like, ow. And he's obviously kidding. But after this, Izuku's just like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a girl like there. She was fine. Like, you should go after her. How about this? If you can get her number before I can get a girl's number at UA, you have to buy dinner. And Bakugo's like, I already bet. And he's like, if you point her out, I'll bag her for sure. And immediately, the next day, they go to UA, and Izuku, he feels Aizawa's presence, and he's like, oh, by the way, there's this dude sleeping in the back, and he tells out to Bakugo, and he's like, oh, crap, you saw that? Like, I didn't even know. And he's just like, yeah. And Ida walks up to Izuku, and he's like, you're that boy who ran in before the gates opened. That was so smart of you. How did you know? And how did you know that there were hero points involved? And he's just like, I'm just better. Like, come on now. And he just flexes his arm and he's just like, yeah. And Baku's just like, dude, chill out, bro. You're so cringe. And immediately, the brown-haired girl, she walks up to Izuku and she's like, thanks for saving me. And immediately he gives Bakugo a side eye like, oh yeah, that's her, by the way. And Bakugo is just stunned. Like, this girl is walking up to him and he's just like, oh, yo, by the way, I never got your name. And she's just like, oh, my name's Ochaka Uraraka. I just wanted to say thank you. And he's just like, oh, yeah, no, my name's Izuku Midoriya, and his name's Katsuki Bakugo. Oh, yeah, Katsuki, I just wanted to say thanks for that Lambo, bro. And she's just like, oh, lamp? Oh, he got money? And she's just like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, he got money. Like, bro, he got me out of the trenches for real. Like, he's paying for my tuition. And she was just like, oh? Because we all know Uraraka's low-key a gold digger. In the best way possible. Like, come on. After this, I can see Aizawa standing up and just being like, everybody, get these on and meet me outside. Screw orientation, y'all don't need it anyways. And Ochaka and Uraraka's about to speak up, and Izuku's just like, wait, let him cook. I don't want to go to this no stupid orientation anyways. So after this, Bakugo's face palms like, bro, come on now. Like, it can't be that bad of a hassle. It would be, to be completely honest with you. So after this, what I can see going down is, I can see everybody going outside. Izuku gets the ball and he's like, so I can do any way possible? And he's like, anyway. You just have to not step out of the circle. And he's like, all right, Ben. So immediately he tells the system, hey, reset stats and put them all into speed, put them all into strength. And immediately he gets all stats put into strength. He grabs the ball and he's just like, yeet. Or no, he puts some into durability as well so he doesn't shatter his arm. But he's just boom, 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 boom. He breaks the sound barrier 5 times. And eventually the robot is just like, error, error, unreadable. And it's just like, oh, he just like that. And he tells the system, hey, go back to normal. And it goes back to normal, like completely balanced. And he just walks back and he's like, you're welcome. And Izuku just clears, like, to be honest. Like, because he can just reset his stats whenever he wants. Because we'll say, like, the system gives him, like, so many stat resets per, like, those are his rewards or stat resets. And for completing a week in a row, and after a year, I would say, like, he would get a bunch of them. So he has, like he would have, like, over 2,000 saved up. And I don't see, like, 7 or 8 being used really mattering. So I would say that he would just, do that. And after this, I can see Izuku just getting first place and last place being Mineta. And Mineta is just on his hands and knees begging Aizawa for him to be able to stay. And Aizawa's just like, calm down, kid. I'm not expelling you. Now everybody go back up to class. Except for you. I need to have a chat with you. So Izuku and Aizawa start talking. And they're like, so I tried to cancel out your quirk and I realized I can't. So how exactly are you doing this? Is this the work of someone of a higher power? And he's like, nah, I'm not. I just don't have a quirk. It's just like, I'm just better for real. Like, like I'm just him. And I was like, I guess I'll take that as an answer. Now go inside, you problem child. And after this, Izuku goes inside, and on his way out later that day, on his way out of the school, he actually bumps into this girl with light blue hair. And she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you there. And he's like, no, I should be sorry. I bumped into you. And immediately they look into each other's eyes and they both blush. And that's where the story ends off. Thank you all so much for watching. What if Deku had a solo leveling system? Like, bro, this was so much fun to make. I don't think y'all understand. Like, I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this series to come out, bro. Solo leveling is so fire. But like, please let me know, like, if I'm getting anything wrong for all you like solo leveling fans, like, please let me know down in the comments and I will fix it. Like, so I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment down below. Even if you didn't, I mean, we all know you're gonna come back anyway, so just leave a subscribe. Like, it helps me out, helps the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? So without further ado, thank you all so much for watching What If Deku Had a Solo Leveling Quirk, part 1, mind you. And without all being said, peace.